Hello there. It is day 4 of my November trip report, and I am actually back home and wanted to tell you about our last day at Disney World and some things that I feel like I've left out of other trip reports, other nightly reports. So first I want to talk masks because I know you're wondering what is the best mask to wear at Disney World. We tried out many on this trip. I brought some with me. I bought one there to try out. And these are my thoughts. First, when we traveled on the plane and on the Magical Express, we were wearing KN95 masks that I had bought months ago and set aside for times when I felt that the exposure could be high. And the only difference between those and the N95 masks that medical professionals wear is the certification process. So they do filter 95% of particles in the air, and they're kind of the safest options. Not kind of, they are the safest options in terms of masks. They are also not that easy to breathe through. So I was very happy to take them off when we felt like we were in lower risk settings. So I will say that. Next, in terms of just walking around the parks, when you're outside, you really need a comfortable mask, especially if you're going in hot times. I found the paper disposable masks to be very comfortable. I brought those from home. You'll see those a lot in the parks, but they're also very kind of medical looking, and they're not very cute, right? So I did buy a mask at Disney World. They are $10 that they sell, which is expensive for a cloth mask. However, I had a pass holder discount, so there was only 8, and I thought it was very cute and very comfortable. So if you look at any of my pictures on Instagram or Instagram stories from that trip, you'll see the Minnie Mouse bow mask that I got. So, I mean, there is the cute factor, if you're taking pictures, and that was my main reason for buying it. It sounds so vain, but if you want PhotoPass pictures or you want cute pictures from the parks, you probably don't want to be wearing like a medical face mask. So there are tons of very cute options on TeePublic, which is a site I really like, and you can find links to that in the Budget Mouse Facebook group to TeePublic, and on Etsy. There are lots of very cute handmade Disney masks on Etsy, and just search for, Disney face mask and hundreds will pop up. I can't speak to how comfortable they are. The Disney mask was very comfortable. Now, how well did it filter? I do not know, and I don't think it probably filtered very well because it was so easy to breathe in. But in situations where you're outside and walking around and you're not crowded around other people, I feel like it's an appropriate thing to wear. My daughter wore cloth face masks from Target, and she was very comfortable in those walking around. I offered to buy her a Disney one. She's like, no, I like these. And I said, okay, good. I don't want to buy it. That's kind of the spectrum of things in terms of face masks. I hope that helps you. Something I realized that I never mentioned on day 2 when I talked about our day at Magic Kingdom was all of the spacing and physical distancing things that are implemented in the park. So I think Disney spent millions of dollars on stickers that go on the ground for spacing in the queues. And they are everywhere, from at your resort when you're waiting in line for the bus to lines to potentially get into a gift shop in the resorts, at the parks, of course in the queues. But I didn't think about, to get into the Emporium at Magic Kingdom when it's a busy time, at the end of the day, a lot of people want to shop and take stuff with them out of the parks when they leave, and that is a busy time for the Emporium. So they have a limit on how many people can be in at a time, and there was quite a long queue to get into the shopping at the end of the night at Magic Kingdom, and it's all spaced out 6 feet. So everywhere you go, you're going to see these stickers on the ground, spacing people out. And for the most part, people really respect them and want to participate in all of these efforts. Like, that is a theme of the trip, is that, everyone who's spending all of the money and all of the effort to go to Disney World during this time, they're on board with all the efforts Disney is making to keep people safe. So I hope that eases your mind about any concerns, in terms of mask mandates locally and stuff. I mean, I do not see 100% compliance with the mandates here in North Carolina. You may where you live, but I certainly don't here. But at Disney World, I did see 100% compliance. So that is good to know. They also have in the queues, they have many things in place to keep people apart. So they have skipped lines in the queues, like left one open to keep people apart. They also, when they couldn't do that, they put up plastic walls basically between the queues, and you can see that in my Instagram stories as well. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've noticed. But so many things, so much thought and effort went into spacing people out and keeping people safe there. Okay, so two other things I want to mention. The deal with the Polynesian is tricky right now because they're in construction and there's all of the coronavirus changes. So when we went to leave, Magical Express is running, but airline resort check-in of your bags is not running because that's just a lot of extra people handling bags and they don't want to do that. So you have to take your bags with you either on the Magical Express and they'll store them below the bus or however you're getting back to the airport. Now, the thing I don't like about Magical Express, the number one thing is that they take you to the airport so early. Our time was 3.5 hours before our flight. Now, normally I wouldn't need that much time, but now you really don't need that much time because not that many people are traveling right now. The lines for security are super low. There's just no waiting at the airport. So I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I thought, oh gosh, is it safe to Uber or Lyft? So I research, is it safe to Uber? And they say, if everyone is masked and you roll your windows down a bit, so there's constant airflow in the car, yes, it's very safe. And I was like, well, that's a good point, because when you roll your windows down in the car, you're really getting a lot of air moving through the car. And if everyone's masked, it seems safe. So we decided to do that. And we had a very good experience. The driver was super friendly and willing to roll the windows down. And we didn't have to roll them down very far to get airflow in that car, maybe to an inch or two on all the windows, and it felt very breezy. I have a funny video of us woo, breezy in the back seat of the Uber on the way to the airport, but I felt totally safe. So personally, I think it's safer to do that than sit in the airport for 3 hours because the airport is probably the riskiest place you can be because there's not 100% compliance with masks, and there's a lot of people hanging out with no masks on. So anyway, those are my thoughts on getting back to the airport, and it was $30 to Uber. To me, that's a no-brainer. Last thing, the bags at the Poly. So I went to the main lobby. We dragged our bags up there because I wanted to leave them with bell services while we went and explored and swam and stuff before we didn't leave for the airport until 4. And we dragged the bags up there and they said, oh, you actually have to take them to the other side of the resort. So we had to drag them back across to the Pago Pago building. And we left our bags there. So I will say, if you're going to stay at the Poly anytime before next summer, really plan ahead. Before you drag your bags anywhere, call the front desk from your room and say, where do we take our stuff? And just generally call and ask because nothing is where it used to be. So I'll say that. But overall, we had the most lovely time on the trip. I am testing for coronavirus upon return. So yesterday I took my first coronavirus test. And I'm waiting the results for that. And then I am testing 5 days after that as well to be sure. I'm always distancing here and masked here. So I just assume everyone has it and I have it so I don't spread it. But I'm really quarantining now until I get two negative test results back, and then I will do that. So I just got groceries dropped off right now so that I don't have to have any contact. But anyway, that is the summary. I also forgot to say that, I suggested booking with Sierra, which I really do suggest because she has answers to all of your questions. And I forgot to mention how to do that. So it's very simple. thebudgetmouse.com/quote will take you right to the form that you can fill out to just get a quote from Sierra. It's no obligation and it's free. It's always free to use her services. And right now she is just a wealth of information about traveling during this time where everything is a bit different. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to compile these shows and have it into one show for your listening pleasure. Thanks again.